self-evident that the main culprit happens to be stubble burning, particularly by farmers in Punjab. And yet, you had this bizarre case in Barnala, one of the agrarian belts of Punjab, where farmers who were burning stubble actually held government officials who had come there to stop them from the stubble burning. They held these government officials hostage. For a number of hours, they were kept in a confined facility and then only let off eventually after local villagers got involved. Now, the question is, how can the Aam Aadmi Party, which up until earlier this year, before it came to power in Punjab, would always say that the stubble burning issue was led to fester because there was no AAP government in Punjab. Now the AAP is the ruling party in both Punjab and in Delhi, and yet they seemingly can't seem to do anything about this rampant stubble burning that's happening in a state that the AAP rules.
These images sum up Punjab government's failure to control farm fires raging across the state. A group of government officials brought a fire engine to a village in Barnala to douse farm fires. But their mission was turned on its head when farmers held the officials hostage. Farmers took control of the fire engine, drove it to a gurdwara and parked it there. They finally let the officials leave after 3 hours. While farmers are refusing to douse farm fires, they are also not using machines bought with central aid to manage crop residue.
When we spoke to different district farmers in the state, they have been saying that no adequate help has been given to them. So some way or the other, the machines have not been able to directly reach out to all the farmers. This is the reason why the farmers are compelled to burn the stubble.
More than 1 lakh machines procured under the central government scheme are lying unused.
कई बार हमारी मशीन उस गांव में पहुंची हुई होती है, फिर भी हम देखते हैं कि किसान मशीन की पहुंचने तक भी गिरना करता है कि यार मशीन पे क्यों जाएं, तो आग ही लगा दें बस.
There is enough and more data to show that Punjab has the maximum cases of farm fires in states neighbouring the capital. And it's this toxic smoke from the farm fires which is turning Delhi's air hazardous. Yet the Aam Aadmi Party, which is in power in both Delhi and Punjab, is blaming the centre.
केंद्र सरकार को, बीजेपी को किसानों से इतनी नफरत क्यों है? उसी नफरत का कारण है कि आज इतना धुआं चारों तरफ हो रहा है. हमें किसानों को समाधान देना पड़ेगा. दिल्ली सरकार अपने स्तर पे जो कर सकती है हम कर रहे हैं.
ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਜਨਤਾ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਹੈ, ਸੈਂਟਰ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਹੈ, ਗੱਲ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗਾਲਾਂ ਦੇਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ. ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਆਏ, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਐਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਿਹਾਰ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਓ, ਰਾਜਸਥਾਨ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਓ, ਦਿੱਲੀ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਓ, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਓ, ਹਰਿਆਣੇ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਓ, ਹਿਮਾਚਲ ਨੂੰ, ਯੂਪੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਓ. ਨਾਰਥ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੈ.
So is the fight against farm fires being held hostage by the Punjab government?
Let's break down how these farm fires in Punjab are only increasing day by day by day. These are images that have been released by NASA. These are not CNN News 18 images. If you look at just how it's been progressing over the last 7 days or so. This was the situation 1 week ago. You can see the red spots. The red spots are where the farm fires are raging, and you can see how in Punjab there seems to be a maximum concentration. A few parts of Haryana and some parts of western Uttar Pradesh. This was the image that was taken yesterday. As you can see, in some of the other neighbouring states, whether it is Himachal, whether it is Haryana, or even UP for that matter, it seems to have come down to a large extent. But in Punjab, it is still burning across the state, particularly in the southern agrarian belt. And today's image, again, are large parts of almost all the other states, whether it's Haryana, UP, even parts of Rajasthan. It seems to have subsided substantially. But in Punjab, particularly in the southern part, which is the agrarian belt, it is still continuing in a big way. So these are images that have been put out by NASA over the last 1 week or so, giving you an idea of just how bad and how concentrated the farm fire situation is, particularly in the state of Punjab. Our correspondent, Nikhil, went to Punjab and he witnessed there firsthand the fires that were raging. This is the report that he filed.
The cases of stubble burning are continuously rising in the state of Punjab. We are currently reporting from a village which is near to the city of Chandigarh, and these are the visuals. You can see clearly that this is the field which has been set on fire by the owner, and the farmer have been, time and again they have been saying that since they are compelled to burn the leftover part, this is the reason why they are left with no other option but to burn the stubble. This is the thick smoke which is coming out, and many experts believe that this goes towards the direction in the national capital Delhi, turning the capital city into the gas chamber every year. But on the other side, Agriculture Minister of the state, Kuldeep Singh Dhaliwal, he has been clearly denying the fact that Punjab is the contributor in Delhi's air pollution. He has been saying that Haryana is the one where the attention should be, because they are somewhere or the other near to the national capital region. So clearly the Delhiites are the one who are choking yet again, and the farmers are yet again compelled to burn the leftover part again this year.
All right, let me go across to our full panel. Joining us this evening here on Brass Tacks on the Talking Point, Aparajita Sarangi is Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP. Abhinandita Mathur is Spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Sunil Dahiya is an analyst with the Centre for Research on Energy and Clean Air. Ramneek Maan is a political analyst, and Dr. Manoj Goel is Principal Director of Pulmonology at the Fortis Hospital. Let me start with Abhinandita, because, up until last year, whenever there was this pollution problem, the farm fire problem, the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi would say that, look, Punjab is doing it, Haryana is doing it. If we come to power in these states, we will ensure that we will put an end to stubble burning. Now you are in power in Punjab, and yet there seems to be no respite to the farm fires. More than 80% of farm fires in North India happen to be in the state of Punjab. Now, what's your excuse?
Hi, good evening. Firstly, I must say that we don't have an excuse, and we're not going to be making excuses here. You and I are breathing the same air as everyone else in North India is, and this is a genuine concern, and we're not going to be in denial of the problem. So I'm not going to, defend us where we shouldn't, and we'll actually, we are looking at actually providing a solution, a long-term and proper solution to the problem. I don't think that it is fair to, be only defensive in the matter. Having said that, I do think that, it is important for our viewers also to understand, and as we understand this now as well, that, this is a larger problem. It is, of course, that Punjab has a crisis right now. But other than Punjab and Delhi, there is also UP, there is also Haryana. I'm not saying it, just for passing the buck, but actually to ensure that, we understand the problem in a holistic way. I think that at the moment we have a national crisis. This is a national emergency. The air is very poor, hazardous in many parts of North India. And this is something that, should be taken on war footing by the Prime Minister himself. That is our request to the centre.
While I agree with you in principle about it being a North India problem, and have no qualms in admitting it, but here is the hard facts, the hard data, and I'm going purely by numbers, okay? Over the last 7 days, since the conclusion of Diwali, since last Tuesday, the number of farm fires in the state of Punjab have been over 12,000. Now, this in comparison to other states. In Haryana, it's over 2,000. In Uttar Pradesh, it is over 750. In Madhya Pradesh, it is over 500. In Rajasthan, it is over 230. Now, my question is, you look at these numbers, and the hard numbers, they speak the truth. Where is 12,000? Where is 2,000? Where is 230? I mean, the fact is that 80% of farm fires in North India are happening in Punjab. You have to address that.
Absolutely. We have, I'm not going to, again, I'm repeating this, I'm not going to be in denial of the problem at all. We acknowledge it, we accept it, and we are saying that we want to work on this in a, in a way that we find long-term solutions for the farmers. Look, this is just the tip of the iceberg. what is happening in Punjab or in UP and the general agrarian crisis in the country. You have to look at the whole picture, and that is all that, that is my limited point.
Okay,
I understand what
Parajita
you're saying.
Sarangi, the larger point that Aam Aadmi Party is raising, what Arvind Kejriwal also said today in the afternoon, that this can't be seen as a one-state problem. Obviously, if fires are burning in Punjab, it's affecting Haryana, it's affecting Rajasthan, it's also certainly affecting Delhi. If you need to find a holistic solution to the problem of bad air, it has to be driven by the central government, because only the central government can bring together all of these different states, the different bureaucracies, the different chief ministers, the different ruling parties, and find a collective solution to this problem.
A very good evening. Now, let me tell you very candidly that I'm not here to indulge in any kind of blame game. We are all breathing poison, and I think it is our collective responsibility. I entirely agree. But as you said, statistics speak the truth. I'm here with data, I'm here with statistics, and we have to understand the problem, There are two aspects to the whole problem of this kind of situation, the poor AQI. The first is the rise in the number of farm fires and how do we manage those farm fires. This is one. And number two is the crop residue management, two aspects. And I'll give you certain figures. In 2021, whatever the number of farm fires in the state of Punjab, there has been 19% increase this year in 2022. And as far as Haryana is concerned, there is a 30.6% drop. Data is data, and we cannot deny that. Now, just today, Punjab had 3,634 fires. I also went to Sangrur, the chief minister's place. And here, unfortunately, again, 2021, there were 1,266 fires. And this time, it is 3,025 fires. Now, how do you explain this? Why there should be so many number of farm fires when the AAP government has been talking about it, and the question of implementation, the issue of implementation lies with the state government. The central government here is all there to support. Now, again, as far as central government is concerned, we are here to aid the state government financially. We don't kind of, go away from our responsibility in the last 5 years.
Okay.
Now, let me give you the figure. In the last 5 years, the Government of India, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has given rupees 1,347 crore to the state of Punjab for crop residue management.
Okay.
Basically to buy the machines worth this amount. And the state bought 1,20,000 machines, not denying that. But unfortunately, today after an audit, 11,275 machines have been found missing. How do you explain that? This is extremely unfortunate, and whatever is right, and whatever is wrong is wrong.
Okay.
This is a question of implementation.
Let me ask Sunil Dahiya, and specifically on the point that Aparajita
Yes.
Sarangi raised about these cutter machines that were procured using
That's right.
central funds. More than 50% central funding came into this in a 2,400 crore project. A good number of these machines are lying idle. Farmers don't want to use them because they say that it requires expertise or it is expensive to use them. The cheapest way to clear your fields is to simply burn the parali. How do you argue against that? How do you convince farmers that you need to use these machines with expertise, and it has been procured by the state, so it's not like the farmers have to procure it by paying out of their own pocket. It's been procured by the state, but they are saying it's too cumbersome, that it requires too much expertise. We are not cut out to do it. We would rather just burn the parali.
Thanks, Jacob. So I'll deal with this question in three stages. The first one being that stubble burning as an issue cannot just be resolved by one solution of providing machines. That's a solution which might work for few, might not work for few. And if you are to solve this problem just by providing these machines to the farmers, the sheer number of machines which will be needed for this will be such high numbers, and they will not be used any other time of the year. So they'll let's also see whether farmers can purchase it or not. There will be very few farmers who will purchase it, and the number of machines which we are giving to the Gram Panchayats and Gram Sabhas, we all know that there is dynamics working in the villages, so not all the farmers will be able to have access to these machines. So machines in itself are not a solution. There needs to be a multi-pronged approach of providing multiple solutions, of which machines can be one alternative. But there has to be other alternatives, which are both in situ as well as ex situ, utilizing the stubble in briquette making, in the power generation, mulching it in the ground, or even totally shifting the cropping pattern to slightly earlier, or going for other pulses and other crops, which might be an alternative around this period for the farmers to get that cash, because Punjab, we should know, is not a rice eating belt, and they grow it only for the cash incentives they get, or the MSP which they get. So there needs to be a multi-solution or multi-pronged approach with the farmers. The second issue comes when we wake up just 15 days before the season arrives and don't do much all throughout the year, and that leaves farmer only talking about those issues which have been either been mentioned by media or by few experts, and then the machines or only with few solutions comes up.
No, but Dr. Dahiya, the field clearing happens around this time. It happens around Diwali when one crop is harvested and then the next crop before the winter crop is sown. So the cutting happens at this time. The field clearing happens at this time. So it doesn't matter. You can get those machines 6 months earlier, but nobody's going to use these machines to cut the crops, to cut standing crops. It can only happen after the harvest is done.
Now, that's the issue I'm talking about, that this approach has to be given up. We have to engage with farmers, take them on a journey of mindset change in terms of shifting them away from this rice cultivation, such high rice cultivation, to other crops. We also have to give them alternatives in terms of whether they can go for other crops, or even in terms of stubble burning. If a farmer, while sowing or before sowing, knows about multiple solutions which they can adopt, they can be well prepared to take those routes.
No, so, I'm all for farmers, I'm all for our Annadatas, but, I want to ask Ramneek Maan, the incident that happened in Barnala, where, by law, yes, in Punjab, and this has been across administrations, even when Amrinder Singh was in power, it was illegal to burn farm fires. I think there was a fine imposed on small farmers holding land of less than 5 acres. Plus, it was punishable. Even though cases have been registered and even though incidents are there, not one instance, at least not a high-profile instance, where farmers have been arrested for this, because it is at the end of the day a crime. But look at what happened in Barnala. The fire officials who came there to douse the fire were held hostage inside the fields for 3 hours, and then the local villagers had to intervene, and that's how they made good from there. Now, my question is, you can't have the farmers taking the law into their own hands, holding government officials hostage for doing their duty.
Yeah, good evening, Zaka. See, it is more like a protsahan given to the farmers during the farmers' agitation, and when Aam Aadmi Party is now in power, they are facing this. I'll address this issue in a bit, but I want to draw your attention to 3 statements made by Bhagwant at different times in different intervals. The first being on 21st of November 2019 in Lok Sabha, as Member of Parliament of Sangrur, he said कि हमसे आप पराली वाली फसल भिजवाते ही क्यों हो? Why don't you give us an alternate? Why don't you give the farmers an alternate to sow maize, bajra, pulses, dal, or any other crop which has a lesser residue? Or why don't you give us the cost difference, bhavantar bharpai, which Madhya Pradesh and Haryana, which are BJP ruled states, are following actually. So he raised the issue of Punjab using up 9 times the volume of water in Gobind Sagar Lake, which is the Bhakra Dam reservoir. So the amount of water which it holds is 9.34 billion cubic meter. That is the amount of volume the Gobind Sagar Lake holds. So as per his own statement, it amounts to 84.15 billion cubic meter of water, which Punjab farmers pump out of the heart of the land every season. And this is going to turn Punjab into a desert very soon. What has he done after he became the Chief Minister? He gave another statement on his own Aam Aadmi Party channel on 10th of September 2022. This is the second statement that he's giving. Now he says that we've sown 75 lakh acres of land for chonna, which is rice. Now, he says that around 40 lakh acres of land there is no management. And he admits on 10th of September that they have 1,05,000 machines available with them. And he rolls out a plan. He tells that if we use these machines for 8 days, their capacity is 5 to 6 acres per day. We can solve the problem to about 98% of farm fires if we use it for 15 days. So he had a solution on the 10th of September. He'd come out with this. And,
so then what stopped him, Ramnik Man? I mean, what stopped him if he had a solution in September? What happened by the time October came? Has he forgotten about the solution? Has he not been able to convince the farmers? Something surely has happened.
No, because he was not able to implement his plans. He had never had the plan of implementation. He was on a tour to Gujarat with the Chief Minister of Delhi. He has never had his focus on Punjab. He's been campaigning in Gujarat. He's been campaigning in Himachal.
So Abhinandita, respond to this, and then I'll go back to the doctor as well. Abhinandita, this is the problem. It's fine to say, we have great plans on paper. 1 lakh machines have been ordered for, and that too, like I said, half of it being funded by the centre and half of it by the state. But what good are these plans if nothing is working on the ground, if nothing is being implemented on the ground?
Firstly, I agree with the experts, and I do understand and assure everyone that, yes, we also believe that the plans have to be implemented, and they have to be implemented better, and that we have to find long-term holistic solutions. Dr. Daya was also saying earlier that the machines are not, for example, the only solution. There are deeper problems, and that also takes us to, again, the deeper problems with the agrarian crisis at the moment, which is, what should Punjab be doing to protect its farmers, to protect the environment, and to have a sustainable model for development there, right? So these are all things that we're working on.
Let's be very clear. We spoke to the agriculture minister yesterday of Punjab, and he said the reason why this is happening is because we are cultivating rice and we are cultivating for the rest of the country. Now, let's be very, very clear. Rice is being cultivated in Punjab, and Ramnik Man is right, to the detriment of the water table in Punjab, simply because rice has the highest MSP in this country. So it's a pure economic reason why farmers are cultivating rice and not cultivating other crops.
The reason why I'm actually not refuting any of the claims by any of the panelists, that with all humility right now we want to say that we want to solve the problem. And you have to give that to us. We have come, at a time where there was a serious crisis with the farmers in Punjab. They were fighting, endlessly for the last 2-3 years with the Modi government. After that, we are trying to create an environment which is basically involving and giving more power to the stakeholders. I'm not going to complicate the debate with data. I am saying very honestly again that, we humbly accept whatever allegations
that is not on your side, madam.
Whatever all analysts are saying, we need to work on a solution.
Okay, Ramnik Man, quick response, and then I'll go to Dr. Goyal. He's been waiting very patiently, so Ramnik Man, quick rebuttal, please.
I'll tell you, she won't quote data. The lady here, Miss Mathu, will not quote data because data are not on their side. Also, it's because both Arvind and Bhagwant have been lying out of their teeth blatantly, and they are misleading and misguiding the government, the people of Punjab and the farmers of Punjab. They have both uttered, and you have played their tapes, saying that center ki sarkar kisanon se nafrat karti hai. I'll tell you, 1,347 crores given, 1,20,000 machines given, all support MSP. Every grain that you purchase from the farmers is for and on behalf of the union government. Punjab government does not buy one grain of rice or wheat for itself. So, madam, when you speak, you don't have that kind of an authority to speak. Anyway, in Buttal Kala, Sangrur, which is the Chief Minister's own constituency, there was a largest biomass gas production plant inaugurated only on the 19th of October by none other than the Chief Minister himself and the Union Minister, Mr. Hardeep Puri, which has a capacity of over 1 lakh metric ton per day, and it has the capacity of taking or consuming or converting the parali into biogas for 45,000 acres, 45 lakh acres of land. So, having said that, when you have the largest plant in the Asia, how can you say that the central government has not done enough? I'm not saying you person, madam. I'm talking about Chief Minister of Delhi and Bhagwan. How can they say this? They're lying out of the teeth.
Okay, Abhinandan, quick response. Dr. Goel has been waiting very patiently. Ramnik, please yield. Ramnik, please yield. Let Abhinandan respond, please.
They are asking
Ramnik, please yield. Ramnik, please yield. Let
crores.
Abhinandan respond, and then Dr. Goel, please. Dr. Goel, thank you for your patience. Yeah.
230 crore रुपए का plant लगा है.
Yes, we've heard you. Please yield. Let Abhinandan respond.
एक मिनट, आप बहुत एंटाइटल तरीके से इस पे अथॉरिटी हैं और मैं उसको रिफ्यूट नहीं कर रही हूँ. हम आपको इनवाइट करना चाहते हैं कि आप मिलके आइए, काम करिए और इस प्रॉब्लम का सलूशन निकालते हैं. जहां तक बात है कि
आप पहले झूठ बोलना बंद करें. झूठे के साथ कौन आएगा? Miss Mathur, you tell me this. Who would come and join hands with a liar?
Sir, 1 minute. Sir, you made your point. Ramnik, please yield. Only Abhinandan on the screen. Abhinandan, quick response. I need to go to Dr. Goel, please. Thank you.
Sure. I'm a bit surprised by the tone that Mr. Ramnik has taken right now. And I don't know what gives him the entitlement or authority to be so sure about what he's saying. And I'm not refuting it. What we are wanting to do here, and we are very serious about it, is actually finding a solution. Please understand that we are all breathing the same air. Do not for a minute think that we are going to run away from the problem. We are facing it head on. I would really like Mr. Ramnik to come up with, some concrete suggestions. I promise you that we would be very happy and willing to take them.
No, he came up with two. He came up with two. One is the machine cutters, many of which are lying idle. Why was that not put to use on ground? And second, this biomass plant that he's talking about. But anyway, let me go to Dr. Goel, please. Please, with your permission, let me go to Dr. Goel, who's been waiting very patiently. Dr. Goel, what does the average resident in Delhi NCR or in wider northern India do about this pollution? I mean, what are the precautions that we can take? Or do we just now, shrug our shoulders and live with this problem that politically, इसमें तो कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. It's just going to be back and forth between BJP and AAP or whichever other political party. This is our nyobat, and we have to sort of live with this. Do we just resign to our fates? Is that what Delhiites have come down to?
No, I don't think so. As a citizen of the state and the country, I firmly believe in the governments, and I'm sure that government would be doing appropriate measures to find a solution to the problem appropriately, as has been discussed in the panel. But at the same time, when we are in a gas chamber and we are breathing poison, as everybody has said, I think it comes to our individual responsibility also to prevent ourselves from this menace. And for that, of course, as a responsible citizen, we should, check our cars and check our pollution certificates, avoid burning, stubble and, leaves around houses. So that is one thing. But as far as the prevention is concerned, I think one should avoid venturing outside until it's absolutely necessary. If you want to do it, then wear a mask. Avoid any stress exercises outside like jogging and running. Do indoor exercises. Do regular exercises like pranayama, yoga. Quit smoking. This is a good time to quit smoke because, already we are in the gas chamber. And this should motivate us to quit smoking if we are a smoker. Then avoid anything cold beverages, cold water. Keep yourself warm. Get yourself vaccinated because of the time, the various infections come up, especially the flu, the chest infections, the lung infections, the rhinitis, sinusitis are there and they're difficult to treat. And many of these patients are, landing up in the hospitals in the wards and also in the ICUs and difficult to treat. So get yourself vaccinated with flu and pneumonia with consultation of your doctor. And if you're an asthmatic or got a respiratory problem, then continue the preventive therapy, which are mainly in the form of inhalers.
From a public health point of view, we had the Delhi Environment Minister earlier today saying that maybe it's perhaps time for companies to start thinking of work from home again. From a public health point of view, do you think that would be a solution, even if it's a temporary one for the next few days?
I think so. I mean, children, especially going to the school, are quite vulnerable because their lungs are small and they breathe too fast.
Yeah.
So as far as possible, I think at this point of time, we must restrict our activities outdoor. If we can do our work, we can be productive from, from our homes. I think it's a good idea to be working from home rather than going to the offices.
So, Aparajita Sarangi, has this now become less a public health issue and more a political issue? Because it seems to be a back and forth between AAP and BJP more than anything else. AAP, I remember right after Diwali, I think Gopal Rai had press conferences saying, this is the best the Delhi air has been in the last decade plus or in the last 5 years or so. And then suddenly in a week, everything has changed because obviously the stubble burning increased in the last week or so. Has this become a political back and forth?
There's no politics involved at all. We want fresh air, we want good air, we don't want to live in a gas chamber. And I think it is everybody's right to voice the concerns. Now, today, 3 suggestions have surfaced. One is crop diversification. Number 2 is purchase of the crop residue management machines and their usage, very important. And third and very important is a strong monitoring system, so that there is reduction in the number of farm fires. Now, these 3 action points have to be looked into by the AAP government in Punjab. So the fact remains that it is whether Punjab or Haryana, we are not indulging in any kind of politics. Whichever is the state government, wherever it is. Now here there is a rise in the number of farm fires in Punjab. We have given ample amount of money to Punjab, not utilized as yet. And let me tell you very candidly, 492 crore lying unspent with Punjab for crop residue management machines this year at this juncture. So what I'm trying to say is it's a question of implementation. Whatever action points, I'm sure everybody is aware of by now, and AAP government should learn to walk the talk.
No, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to implementation. If close to 500 crores is lying as unutilized money, if thousands of these cutter machines are lying idle, then it boils down to implementation, a lack of will to implement policies.
Well, 2 things. One is policy making and also then implementing the policies. Point well taken. However, it's a bit rich coming from the BJP MP, given that, they have actually been making one after another blunders when it comes to, the agriculture industry in India. So it's a bit rich coming from them. Having said that, I do think that all the suggestions that came today are going to contribute. And we must also come back to the fact that, the Parali is one problem, but there are many other factors. And I think that this is a national emergency and and we demand that the Prime Minister call a meeting of, all the...
No, you've made that point. The other big factors are also A, construction dust, B, vehicular pollution.
Absolutely.
But these are again, one second, these are also matters that come under the remit of the Delhi government. So there's no point blaming the centre or any other political party because, many of these things, like I said, can be done by the Delhi government if it has the will to implement these things. But I'll give Ramneek the final word very quickly though. It comes down to political expediency. No political party, and even when Amrinder Singh was in power or before that Sukhbir Singh Badal was in power, not one government wants to take on farmers or wants to arrest farmers who burn stubble because it's a politically sensitive constituency and nobody wants to alienate that constituency. So it's not just the Aam Aadmi Party or Bhagwant Mann. Things were not very different when Amrinder Singh was in power or before that when Sukhbir Singh Badal was in power.
You see, that's correct actually, Zaka. See, during the farmers' protest, the Aam Aadmi Party had taken support of the farmers and they had taken support of one other group which I would not wish to name today, which is very obvious though. And now, as you see, the government in Punjab, spending time over 6-7 months now, you see both these elements getting active. So you see a rise in farm fires, you see the smoke of that fire. There is another fire which is burning in Punjab, you don't see smoke of, but people living in Punjab can see the effect. We can feel that there is a rise in law and order situation. And yes, you are correct. They have given the farmers and the other side a very long rope, a very loose rope, and which eventually is going to be very difficult to contain. I believe that this is one thing where they can take the support or they can take a lead from the neighboring state Haryana which is providing incentives to farmers for not sowing the rice crop during the rice season. They are getting about 2,500 rupees per acre. The same amount of money which Aam Aadmi Party demands from the union government in terms of crop residue management, 2,500 rupees per acre is being demanded. They should also offer MSP purchases at their own, just like the government of Haryana is doing. The government of Haryana is buying bajra, they is buying dals, they are buying all other millets on MSP. So they should take an initiative, they should support the farmers, and they should make sure that you have the largest biogas management plant in Asia.
Sure.
You should feed it with all the pulp and all the parali that you can, which can actually become an income source, an additional income source for the farmers.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that because I'm completely out of time. I want to thank all our guests. Like I said, we've been doing this for the better part of the last decade or so. Every time it's the turn of winter in the National Capital Region, the air quality gets bad, it's stubble burning, and clearly there's been no solutions yet to this in a way that it makes a difference to the air that we are breathing. We thought politically at least one hurdle of having governments of multiple parties, whether it is in Punjab or in Delhi, that hurdle would have been breached, and therefore there would be some sort of, if you will, some sort of reduction in this parali burning, the stubble burning, but that has not necessarily been the case. Let's see how the story moves forward. I'm going to take a quick break here on the program. When we come back, it was almost a near-death experience for one young woman in Chennai, where it's been raining incessantly for the last couple of days. But in this case, it is the civic apathy more than the rains which seems to be sinking Chennai.
Results for the by-poll will be out on the 6th of November.
A massive fire broke out at a restaurant in Pune. The blaze erupted at the top floor of the Marvel Vista building, causing the roof and the windows to collapse. Debris fell to the ground as the flames grew bigger. 6 fire tenders had to be rushed to the spot. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported. At least 2 people were killed after a massive fire broke out in a footwear factory in New Delhi's Narela area. 10 fire tenders were rushed to the site after receiving a call about the fire. Firefighters were seen pulling out several unconscious staff members from the windows while the fire raged, sending plumes of smoke up in the air. A quarrel over taking a dog for a walk resulted in a security guard being attacked in Gurugram.
A man was taking his dog for a walk when he was stopped by the guard. He was informed that he isn't allowed to walk his pet in a part of the society. After several incidents of dog bites in Delhi NCR over the last few months, many societies have banned dog walking in public areas. After a heated exchange, the pet owner started chasing the guard with a stick. He then cornered the guard and repeatedly assaulted him with a stick. The guard suffered severe injuries and was admitted to a hospital. No police complaint has been registered so far, but the Gurugram police is likely to take suo motu cognizance of the incident after the footage of the attack went viral.
The Mumbai police will now provide Y+ security cover to actor Salman Khan in light of the recent threats made to him allegedly by Lawrence Bishnoi gang. This is an upgrade by 2 levels, and now commandos will be among the 12 armed cops that Salman Khan was given. A letter addressed to Salman and his father Salim Khan threatened that the duo will meet the same fate as slain singer Sidhu Moosewala, whose hit was allegedly ordered by the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. Indo-Canadian Punjabi singer AP Dhillon was admitted to hospital after suffering an injury during his US tour. He has rescheduled the dates for his concerts in San Francisco and Los Angeles to December now. The singer informed his fans on Instagram that it breaks his heart to postpone the shows, but he expects a full recovery in a month's time. Ukraine is facing blackouts and shortage of water after a fresh wave of Russian missile strikes.
Russian forces fired 4 missiles at Ukraine's southern city of Mykolaiv, killing at least 1 person and setting several buildings on fire. The shelling destroyed sections of a railway track, damaged a power line and took down mobile communications. The strikes have caused power cuts in hundreds of areas across 7 Ukrainian regions. Meanwhile, Russia claims Ukrainian forces shelled the city of Alsvek in Russian-occupied Luhansk. The shelling hit a hotel, and according to Russia, several civilians are trapped under the rubble. Tensions are escalating after Russia pulled out a landmark agreement that allowed vital grain shipments via a maritime safety corridor.
South Korea's Prime Minister and officials have admitted responsibility and apologized for failing to prevent and respond to a Halloween crowd surge that killed more than 150 people. A 475-member police force is investigating the incident. Footage has been taken from 50 security cameras in the area, and more than 40 witnesses and survivors have been questioned. Israelis voted in the fifth election in less than 4 years. The elections were held after the collapse of the so-called Change Coalition, which united 8 disparate political parties who succeeded in ousting ex-Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu last year. And now Netanyahu is eyeing a return alongside far-right allies. Netanyahu is on trial for corruption and breach of trust. A fire-breathing stunt is going viral for all the wrong reasons. This man held a fire stick too close to his mouth and then breathed petrol into it. But in seconds, his beard caught fire. That's when other people rushed to help him out by patting his face to extinguish the fire. In fact, the video has got more than 12 million views. 48 hours after the Morbi bridge collapse, which left more than 130 people dead, Prime Minister Modi today visited the accident site.
Prime Minister Modi touched down in Morbi, where more than 130 lives were snuffed out in a matter of seconds when an overcrowded hanging bridge collapsed. After conducting an aerial survey of the Machu River, where teams of the NDRF are still searching for the missing, Prime Minister Modi visited the site of the bridge collapse and took stock of the operations.
So right now also he's taking a briefing. He's discussing the details of the case. Bhupen Patel, Chief Minister, is now speaking to the Prime Minister, and then Harsh Sanghvi was giving the briefing.
He then visited the local hospital, met survivors of Sunday night's tragedy, as well as the families of those who lost their lives. PM Modi chaired a high-level meeting in Morbi and said the need of the hour is to conduct a detailed and extensive inquiry which will identify all aspects relating to this mishap.
But questions do remain over whether Morbi was a man-made tragedy, and will those who were responsible for the bridge collapse ever be brought in front of the law?
9 scapegoats have been arrested, but the big fish behind the Morbi bridge collapse have gone scot-free. Ahmedabad-based Oreva Group was in charge of the renovation and repair of the bridge. Yet, the FIR has no mention of the company or its owner.
On the day of inauguration also, he left for the event from this apartment.
Welcome back to Brass Tacks. Our second debate tonight. Chennai has become the latest sinking city in recent months. One spell of rain has exposed Chennai's crumbling infrastructure and glaring civic apathy, and one woman almost died as a result of it.
This 24-year-old woman had a brush with death in the waterlogged streets of Chennai. Preeti was walking to work and fell into an open manhole, which she couldn't see because the road was completely inundated. The impact was such that she fell unconscious when she plunged into the open manhole. But thankfully, bystanders rushed and pulled her out in time.
This is the place where the episode took place. Right now, there are barricades in place. Not just here where the incident happened. If I can show you the other side, barricades are also there where people in fact have complained that it could pose a threat for commuters.
But the area engineer tried to shirk all responsibility.
We just got a message that one girl has tripped. She has not fallen into the pit. She has just tripped in the indentation, the water. She has wrongly stepped in the indentation. Because there's an ups and downs in the road level, she has just tripped. There's no major incident. She just has small scratches in the hand.
Just one spell of heavy rains brought Chennai to its knees. Roads turned into rivers, traffic came to a standstill, and the city's infrastructure collapsed. It's not just Chennai. It's the same story in Bengaluru, Mumbai, and Gurugram. a picture of complete civic apathy. So are cities becoming urban death traps?
All right, joining us on the talking point this evening, Karuna Gopal is a BJP leader and president of Futuristic Cities. Kovai Satyan, spokesperson of the AIDMK. Jagadishwaran is a political analyst. Sudhir Krishna, former secretary of urban development of the government of India. Let me start with you, Karuna Gopal. There used to be a time when Chennai used to pride itself as being, high on infrastructure, very futuristic, if you will. But today, look at what has happened. Just a couple of days of rain, and a 24-year-old lady working in a private company almost lost her life by being sucked into an open manhole.
Yes. It's rather unfortunate that these kind of things are happening, that due to happen. It is not just Chennai, as you were saying, it is practically every city that is experiencing this. In fact, I would say that it is not just Indian cities, but cities elsewhere too. For instance, last week in South Korea, I think Seoul, there was huge rain and 10 people were washed away, and they were victims of the manhole drowning. So this seems to be a global problem. And another interesting fact, which perhaps is quite bad, is also that the market for manhole covers is somewhere around $5 billion US, which is 40,000 crores. So obviously this seems to be a global problem now. And
but what is the issue? Why can't we
cognizant.
in the 21st century invent or produce manhole covers which don't just fly away with one spell of rain, or which don't just get displaced with one spell of rain?
So the problem is this. First of all, we need to understand that when there is a lot of rain, like let's say incessantly pouring and something to the tune of 100 mm per hour, then it is bound to build a lot of pressure, and then they will fly off. Like 103 flew off in Bangalore recently. And another issue that is absolutely man-made is that we don't do desilting. We don't do the cleaning of the manholes periodically. There's a lot of sanitary waste. There's a lot of solid waste stuck to the sides, and we clog these underground passages, and therefore these problems are always there. So you could call it civic apathy. Our municipal systems, if you see, typically are completely understaffed, and cities are bursting at the seams with a lot of influx from in migration. There are a multitude of problems. But again, as you know, that Mumbai recently tried giving a manhole cover, which they call as a iron net, and they claim that they have brought down the deaths to almost zero. So maybe other cities should follow suit.
No, Kovai Satyan, what is interesting in the case of Chennai is, even despite all your political differences and the back and forth that keeps happening from time to time between DMK and ADMK, alternately these two parties have been ruling for the last many decades. The issue of infrastructure has always been bipartisan. No matter which party was in power, infrastructure was always placed at a very high premium, particularly road construction, road development. But at the same time, look at what has happened today in two bouts of rain in Chennai over the last 24 hours. Large parts of the city are waterlogged. People have been displaced because of low-lying areas and waterlogging. And in this case of this young woman, Priya, she almost lost her life because of a manhole cover being flown off.
As you rightly say,
sorry,
every city.
Go ahead, Satyan. Yeah, go ahead, Satyan.
Every city that is under rapid urbanization faces challenges with respect to infrastructure that has to keep in pace with urbanization. But having said that, in this case of Chennai, one has to clearly understand whether it is a natural disaster or a man-made disaster. I'll throw you some few data points where probably the viewers will understand how this has become a man-made disaster. 2016, when we were in the second term of the government, 306 places of waterlogging were identified, and we improved infrastructure, did the corrective mechanism of channelizing 196 kilometers of water channels and reduced it to 3. And after this, DMK came into power.
you have to diesel 1,950 kilometers of water channels to ensure that there is a free flow of water. Even there is a rain, there is excess rain. But this government slept as soon as they assumed power. Only hardly 720 kilometers were desilted, and all the canals, debris were filled in and reduced the size of the channels. This led to the inundation of water for the last rain. Citing that as an example, what this government is doing right now is they are constructing new drainages across Chennai by spending crores and crores of rupees. Their leader is known for a scientific corrupt person. Following his footsteps, they are splurging taxpayers' money in crores in the name of giving a solution, permanent solution, rather than identifying the core issue.
Okay.
Desilting has to be done. They have not done it. 1,950 kilometers. This year also they have not desilted. The work has to start by August. The onset of monsoon is October end and November. The work has to start by August. The planning has to start by July and August. This government is only busy in giving away fancy advertisements and fancy promises to the people rather than getting into the real problem of it.
Okay, Jagdishwaran, please respond to that specific charge. On the one hand, you need to be desilting the existing drains. Instead of focusing on that, you're floating new tenders for a new drainage pipelines.
I'll just put it in one word. See, you can talk to the people in Chennai, and the people, what they say is, this year it is much better compared to previous years. Or I'll put it this way, after DMK came into power and for the last 1 year, the work was going on, people were a lot of inconvenience. People waited, people were not very sure if things would be over before the onset of monsoon. But today and yesterday, most of the people that I speak with, most of the areas that I go, people say things are much better compared to ADMK period or compared
Sir,
to
but look at the pictures from Perambur and Tiruvallur and all these low-lying areas. Look at the pictures. I mean, we are not making this up.
Yeah, no. Wait, please. There are issues in North Chennai. There are issues in Pattalam. There are issues in Avadi, where there are issues. And even here,
how much of rainfall? How much of rainfall? It's just 10 centimeters of rainfall.
It's not 10 centimeters. Please.
Yeah,
read the papers. North Chennai, it is 300 millimeters, 30 centimeters. Nungampakam, it is. This constituency is water. As per the records, this is the third time in the past 24 years this rainfall has happened in Chennai.
No, okay. but Mr. Jagdishwaran, no. One second. No, one second. Again, in the 2015 rains when it happened, this was the same argument put forth by the ADMK at that time that look, the rains were unprecedented. There were, I think, 100 mm of rain or so within 24 hours. So that logic, that's a climate change argument. We are going to get more rain in briefer intervals of time. That is a reality we have to live with. What are governments doing on the ground in terms of preparation work for that? That's the question to be answered.
I'll put you specific areas. Tinagar, Velachery, where in Tinagar last year, there was so much water. And everybody was saying because of the smart city project that the Edapadi government took, it happened. Again, in Velachery, it always gets flooded, it always gets inundated. This time, there was no flood in Velachery, there was no flood in Tinagar. You could have seen people who have cars, they used to take the cars and put it on the top of the bridges. There are people who used to get candles, there are people who used to buy milk powders, everything. But this time, for the last 2 days, even though there was heavy rain, I'm not again going to compare to 2015 or something.
Yeah.
Even though there was heavy rains, people didn't do that.
Okay, so Sudhir Krishna, no, what I'm interested in is a permanent solution. Again, I keep going back to the 2015 rains because it was that horrible. The promise that was made at that time was, the canals will be cleared. The rampant illegal construction that we're seeing on these canal beds, that'll be regularized and so on and so forth. Have we seen any change in the last 5 to 7 years that gives you and that warrants some confidence that the civic authorities, irrespective of political dispensations, are taking this issue seriously?
Yes, see.
No, my question is to Sudhir Krishna. Thank you. Yeah. Mr. Krishna. Yeah.
Kindly repeat the question, sir.
Sir, my question is, when in 2015 we saw the unprecedented floods, it was understood after those floods that the canals needed to be cleared, the embankments around the canals needed to be cleared. Has any work gone in that direction over the last 7 years?
Well, the thing is, canal cleaning and surface drain system cleaning is absolutely necessary. And what I gather from the newspapers is that new drains, new stormwater drains have been developed. But I suggest that, it's a very costly thing. The whole city cannot be possibly covered with new stormwater drains, it may not be worthwhile also. Existing stormwater drain network has to be reviewed. And you also showed that a lady fell into the manhole.
Yeah.
Those are the closed underground drains which are for sewage. Normally, stormwater drain is a surface open drain and sewage is the underground drain. That is a normal tradition. Very rarely rainwater has to be allowed to go in underground drains, which is not very much recommended, because the rains are heavy and open drains are to be maintained, and a lot of muck also goes, a lot of silt goes into the drains. It has to be open drain. So what I would think is that good work has been done by Chennai, Greater Chennai Development Authority and Corporation, and some open drains have been constructed newly. But what is required is to review the drainage network.
Okay.
Open drain network, that is one thing. And it has two problems. One is the total alignment end to end, because rainwater does not know where it is going through. It is going through slum area, congested area. Actually, there the drains become narrow, and there the inflow is more at times. And so therefore that is one thing. And second thing is, I believe Chennai has a unique topography. Its slope is very low, almost 1 to 10,000, because Eastern Ghats are like that, unlike Western Ghats. Of course, Mumbai is an exception, being an island. Otherwise, in Chennai, the rainwater cannot flow out very easily into the sea. It will go slowly. If it rains heavily, then water has a tendency to gather.
Okay.
Above all, this year I am not too sure, but last year the heavy rains of around this time, only November, the dams also had released water. When it rained heavily, water was released from dams. So as such, the city rainwater is not able to flow out into ocean. And if we add the surplus water from dam, it adds to the confusion, the difficulty.
Okay.
So that has also to be taken on a long-term solution basis.
I'll give the final word to Karuna Gopal and to Kovai Satyan. For a city that is so close to the sea, which is literally a coastal city, yes, the topography issue is there, but surely it can't be that hard to build open drains to move this excess water into the sea.
Yeah, Mr. Zaka, actually the whole problem with our cities is we don't follow what we call as the science of city. For instance, the stormwater drains, there's a certain ratio. Stormwater drains, when compared to the road network, you need to stick to that ratio, and none of the cities has actually done that, and least of all Chennai. The second thing is the desilting activity has to be continuous activity, and they need to go for those. Now you have semi-robotic, devices. Let them get that. And the third is, I think when such things happen, some kind of penalties have to be imposed in terms of, like, let's look at even IPC 304A, where we can slap criminal negligence on the municipality or the municipal corporation. And the last and the final one is, you remember in Delhi, when 2 people died, the Delhi High Court told the municipal corporation to give a compensation of 10 lakhs per family.
Yeah.
I think something like that, heavy levels of penalties have to be imposed, that the municipal corporation start looking at the science of city, take it very seriously,
at the end of the day,
stay committed, and
the
stay
city
rooted
has
to what is
a drainage system which is over 100 years old. Don't you agree, at least in principle, that they need to move to a new and a modern stormwater drain system, which is what this government has been doing?
Look, the unfortunate
this is to Kovai Satyan. Thank you. Yeah, Kovai Satyan. Final word.
Buckingham Canal is there for ages, for years. The primary reason to have that Buckingham Canal is to ensure that there is a smooth flow of water towards the sea, and if there is any inundation from the sea, it will handle it. And provided with has to be internal structures and water bodies and channels which needs to be corrected. We have a government which is more focused and glued towards swindling public's money. Rather than addressing the core issue and the problem, they want to hoodwink the people with fancy advertisement that they want to construct the drainage throughout the entire city rather than identifying the problem. So you need to have somebody who is proactive and who is sensible and who can take a wise call at the appropriate time by not spending taxpayers' money or not lavishingly spending taxpayers' money.
I'm completely out of time. Let's see how this plays out, whether it was Bangalore a few months ago, whether it's Chennai today. This is a continuing urban malaise, and we hope that our civic authorities across these great cities of ours find long-term solutions, because this can't be the story year after year, every year. Thank you very much to all our guests. That's a wrap. In a moment, Mari Shakil joining you with News Epicenter.
everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. While Delhi's air quality continues to deteriorate, there is no end to farm fires in Punjab, which continues to rise, turning the national capital into a gas chamber. After years of promising solutions, if they came to power in Punjab, the Aam Aadmi Party government is now claiming that stubble burning in Punjab has no impact on the air quality in Delhi, pointing the finger at farm fires in Haryana, adding that no aid has been delivered by the centre. In fact, for years, the Aam Aadmi Party has touted promises of providing financial aid to farmers to manage stubble and the deployment of biodecomposers as an alternative to stubble burning. However, Punjab currently accounts for 80% of farm fires around the national capital. It's not Haryana. The centre claims that since 2018, over 2,000 crore has been allocated for stubble management and awareness campaigns in Punjab. Moreover, the centre claims machines funded by it for stubble clearance are lying unused, while 73,000 machines have been given to Haryana farmers in the last 4 years. In fact, such is the situation in Punjab. In fact, in Barnala, a group of farmers held government officials hostage for 3 hours and seized their vehicles after they tried to douse farm fires. In 2022, it is another season of blame game and inaction, and it is the Aam Aadmi which is once again at the receiving end. The air quality in Delhi remains in the very poor category, and the NCPCR has even moved the Delhi government to close schools and safeguard the health of children. Till when will this cycle keep repeating itself?